Good evening, Asia. Good afternoon, Middle East and Africa. And good morning, Americas. It's the time of the month when we feature the British Council IELTS Philippines and an IELTS passer to share her success story. Welcome to AMN Academy. This is the free English examination lessons offered by 9.09er English every first and third Monday of the month. Third Monday of the month, I'm with Sir Brian Martin Shawson for free lectures on IELTS speaking, writing, reading, and listening. But every first Monday of the month, we are with the British Council Philippines to talk about the latest updates, promotions, especially because I heard earlier this afternoon that the sale of the British Council Philippines is extended. So we'll hear more of that later from Miss Janea. That's for the first part of our Facebook Live session for tonight from 9 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. And then for the second part, 9:15 to 9:30, we are going to hear the success story of Miss Stell. So I hope that you're going to stay with us until the end of our Facebook Live session because it's always important that we hear the story of passers, people, real people who made it in the IELTS examination with the help of 9.09er English. And most importantly, the endorsement and scholarship of AMN Healthcare International. So, if you know anyone, a nurse in particular, who would like to go to the United States of America and fulfill that American dream, all you have to do is to send them to AMN Healthcare International because AMN sponsors the review and examination, not just the review, guys, but also the examination fee for IELTS. One of IELTS is the examination that's accepted for U.S. visa screen and license endorsement in order for nurses to work in the United States. So before I hand you over to Miss Chinea, if you're looking for IELTS resources to help you wing this English examination, we have our IELTS 2025 listening and reading book. This is available on Shopee. Now, if you are looking for speaking or writing materials, yes, we also have these books for you. One is for speaking and one is for writing. And if you're just looking for a book that will help you improve your English proficiency, we have one for grammar and one for vocabulary. What I'm going to do in the next 15 minutes is to turn my camera off and then send the link to various group chats to encourage more people to join our Facebook Live session for tonight. Meanwhile, I'm going to give the floor to Miss Janea Gutierrez of the British Council for the latest updates and the sale that's still ongoing. On to you, Miss Janea.
Hi, Sir Irvin. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm Janea, and I'm here to talk about how you can answer IELTS tests with the British Council. Next slide, please. IELTS, or the International English Language Testing System, is proudly co-owned by the British Council together with Cambridge English. British Council is the test administrator globally, while Cambridge Assessment is the one who creates the exam. It's an assessment test that measures or gauges a person's ability to communicate using the English language, specifically for people who intend to work or live in a country where English is the language of communication, like the US. It has a proven track record. It's been around for more than 35 years, and it is recognized globally by more than 12,500 organizations worldwide. This is proof that IELTS is trusted by myriads of organizations, giving IELTS test takers limitless opportunities to study, work, or live globally. IELTS is also recognized for its validity and reliability. What sets it apart is that it is backed by rigorous research and decades of expertise. Lastly, IELTS is committed to security and fairness. The test operates under a trusted multi-layered security system. This is done to ensure the authenticity of results from registration to secure test environments and detailed ID checks. IELTS implements stringent security protocols which are all designed to uphold the test's integrity and fairness. Next slide, please. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the side-by-side comparison between the IELTS on paper and IELTS on computer. As you can see, it's the same test. The components are the same. The speaking test is delivered in the same manner. The modules are the same, and it is also available for the same price, which is $13,660. The difference between both results are faster for IELTS on computer, which is already available within 24 to 48 hours instead of 13 calendar days for the IELTS on paper test. The IELTS on Computer test is faster and more flexible because it's available daily in Metro Manila. If you want to finish the test in just one day, then this test is for you. Now, one thing that might help you decide to choose to take the IELTS on Computer is the One Skill Retake option. What is the One Skill Retake option, you may ask? This is our new way of helping test takers who only need to improve in one area of their test. With the one skill retake, you no longer have to retake all four components of the exam. Next slide, please. So here we have the test format. The format is the same for both general training or academic module. It is divided into two main sections. The written part, which is composed of the listening, reading, and writing part of the exam, and the speaking or the interview part of the test. Now, for nurses such as yourselves, you usually need to take the academic module. For both formats, the speaking part of the test is done one-on-one with a live examiner, either via video call or via face-to-face. However, if you choose IELTS on paper, the speaking part of the test may be scheduled on a different date from your written test. While if you choose the IELTS on computer, all four components are usually done in one day. This is a good option for those test takers who have full or busy schedules throughout the week. At the British Council, you can choose your preferred test date for both test formats. This means you can choose the best schedule to match your availability when you register for your test. Next slide, please. So if you're thinking, why should I take the IELTS with the British Council? Here are a few good reasons why. The British Council has over 20 test locations to choose from, and we administer the test almost every week, or sometimes even every day, like in Metro Manila. Our aim is to provide as many options as we can in terms of location and test dates, since we understand that your time and resources are important. So to view the list of available test date and test locations, you can scan the QR code now, or you can take a photo of it for later. You may also type in www.britishcouncil.ph into your web browser. Next slide. Thank you. Maybe you're thinking of registering for the IELTS on computer test, but you are still undecided. Now you have the opportunity to experience the IELTS on computer before fully committing to it by trying the IELTS on computer familiarization test. You do not need to sign up to try it. Again, this is 100% free. You simply need to go to the website shown on the screen, and you just need your laptop and an internet connection for this. Results will be provided as well, but please take note that you need to finish the whole test. This can serve as a good gauge on where you are in terms of band scores before you take the actual test in your IELTS journey. We also just recently started offering IELTS on computer in Iloilo. So for our nurses who are based or are near Iloilo, this might be just what you need. Next slide, please. We also have upcoming events where we will be bringing partners, give them a chance to talk about their services, and help test takers to learn more about the IELTS test. Our next stop for the IELTS Mini Fair is in Batangas on 30 August 2025. Next slide, please. Now, for more good news, the IELTS Sulit Deals promo is extended. Test takers who are planning to take the IELTS test until September 30, 2025 may avail of this promo by using the promo code IELTS Sulit 2. That's with a single S. So with this, you can save up to 1,000 pesos off your IELTS registration fee, and you will also receive the IELTS Ready premium review materials upon registration. If you take the IELTS on computer test in Metro Manila, Cebu, Baguio, or Pampanga. That is a total of 11,000 pesos worth of savings and freebies. So don't forget, the promo code is IELTS Sulit 2. And then here we have the IELTS prize, which we started this June 1, 2025 for the Philippines, Myanmar, and Indonesia. If you're a Filipino citizen who is registered and will take the IELTS before 25 September 2025, and if you are 16 years old and above, you might be one of the lucky 5 winners who will win 75,000 pesos. Next slide, please. Thank you. The main requirement, a 2-minute video highlighting your IELTS journey. If you're interested or if you want to know more, you can check it out on our official Facebook page, IELTS British Council Philippines. Or you can learn more by visiting the British Council website and typing in British Council IELTS Prize 2025 in the search bar. Next slide, please. If you have other questions or any concerns after this session, you may contact us at the channel shown on the screen, or you can also visit our website for the live chat at www.britishcouncil.ph or at www.ieltsasia.org/ph. Our customer service team will be happy to assist and talk to you. And that concludes my part for tonight's presentation. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Sir Irvin.
Thank you so much, Miss Janea, for sharing the latest updates on IELTS. And always remember, there's this sulit sale of the British Council run up and up, actually ongoing. So if you live in those places mentioned, like Metro Manila, Pampanga, Laguna, Cebu, all you have to do is to follow the instructions on how to avail the sale. Now, if you need assistance from 9.09 or English, yes, we also offer free processing of exam registration. And we're also going to offer you a discount on top of the British Council's discount. So you're going to save more if you course your exam registration through 9.09 or English. As Miss Janea mentioned earlier, 9.09er is not just an English review center. In fact, we are also the official testing center for IELTS in 12 key cities nationwide. In Metro Manila, we have 2 IELTS testing centers, one in Makati and one in Manila. Exact location, P. Campa España, Manila, near FEU Moraita and UST. Moving on to Southern Luzon, we are also the official testing center for IELTS in 3 key provinces. There's Batangas, Lipa City in particular, in partnership with Roman Canadian Immigration Services. We are also the official testing center in Imus Cavite and Calamba, Laguna. Moving up north, we have 4 testing centers to cater to the IELTS examinees of Dagupan, Pangasinan, Cabanatuan, Nueva Ecija, Tuguegarao, Cagayan Valley, and Vigan, Ilocos Sur. And in the Visayas, we now have 2 testing centers with the British Council, one in Iloilo and the other one in Bacolod. So if you live in any of those provinces or you find these provinces accessible for you, don't think twice. 9.09er English is the official testing center of the British Council in those cities and provinces. So all you have to do is to connect with us so that we can register you for the examination free of charge. All you have to do is to pay the discounted examination fee, and then Miss Jenna of Niner English will process your exam registration. Now, we move on to the second part of our discussion for tonight, and this is what I'm excited about because every month we feature a success story. With us tonight is Miss Estelle, who is going to share with us her IELTS journey. Good evening, Miss Estelle.
Good evening, Sir Irvin.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Like most IELTS candidates, there are people who find one subtest easier than the other. There are also others who find one subtest more challenging. So maybe let's begin with let's begin with the easiest subtest for you. So listening, reading, writing, and speaking, which subtest do you find easiest and why?
Okay, well, I guess speaking is the easiest subtest for me, generally because I can carry a conversation with people and the format for the speaking test is relatively easy. So I just had to get used to speaking for 2 straight minutes. Imagine 2 straight minutes, and I don't normally time myself, when I talk to people. But otherwise, I think I did well in that subtest.
Thank you for that, Miss Sel. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a nurse going to the United States of America, speaking, by the way, is the most important subtest. It doesn't matter which English examination you take because speaking is always the subtest with a higher band score requirement as compared to the other components. Let's take IELTS for example. In order for you to work in an American hospital, you need a 7 in speaking and 6.5 overall band score. The question is how to get 6.5 overall band score. The recommendation, you have to get around 6 for listening, around 6 for reading, and around 6 for writing. And when you have a 7 in speaking, that will give you 6.5 overall band score. But someone good in math told me, excuse me, when you get the average, 7 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 divided by 4, that is not 6.5. That is 6.25. And I said, thank you so much for your mathematical insight. It's just that in the IELTS, there is no such thing as 0.25 and 0.75. So the moment you get an average of 0.25, that is rounded up to 6.5. If you get an average of 6.75, that is rounded up to 7.0. So if you get 7 in speaking and 6 in 3 components, that will give you 6.5 overall. So what did you notice? The band score requirement for speaking is higher than listening, reading, and writing. So as Miss Tel mentioned, this is the subtest that she considered to be easy, knowing that it does not require mastery of, let's say, ecotourism or globalization or specialist knowledge. All you have to do is to be yourself and express what you want to say without trying to impress the examiner. So if Miss Estelle found the speaking subtest easy, what about the most challenging subtest for you, and what did you do during your preparation in order for you to make sure that you pass this most challenging subtest?
Okay, so I guess reading, I consider reading the most challenging for me because I really don't read a lot. I also have a very short attention span, so I get distracted easily. So imagine when I found out that I have an hour to do a reading test, okay? But imagine, but um, but technically, when I started doing my review course, and I found out that there are techniques, there are techniques to actually enable myself to complete the test on time, and because I was able to use the mock test as well as um, have more practices during my the course of my review, I was able to build these techniques and ensure that I pass my IELTS reading subtest. So in a way, while it was challenging, it also taught me some new skills, and I actually apply it now when I do read my whatever material I have to read.
Ms. Nell is actually not wrong. Why? If you look at the national average of candidates taking the IELTS, people usually get a higher grade in the speaking subtest as compared to reading. Our national
Mm.
average in speaking is 6.8, and that's near 7.0. But what about reading? National average is 6.3. Now, this is not a secret that more people find the reading subtest to be challenging, especially in this day and age when people love to watch, people love to listen to podcasts, but it's not really a hobby of people to read books, especially the printed sort. So, I have good news for you if you are like Miss Del, who finds the reading subtest more challenging than the others. Take note that if you are planning to go to the United States of America, USA, CGFNS, True Merit, Joseph Silney, and even the state boards of nursing typically do not require a specific grade in the reading subtest. So, someone asked me, what if I got 5.5 in reading? Can I still work in the United States of America as a registered nurse? The answer is yes. Remember, all you have to do is to look at your overall band score and speaking. So speaking must be 7 and then overall band score must be 6.5. But how does this work? If you get 5.5 in reading, make sure you are going to do better in another subtest so that it's going to pull up the average. Say, for instance, if you get a 7 in speaking, 6.5 in listening, 6 in writing, 5.5 in reading, that is still more than enough for you to work in the United States. So don't worry if you encounter true, false, not given, or matching headings in the reading subtest. So AMN Healthcare International sponsors the review program for their nurses. So when you qualify for this scholarship or sponsorship, after you pass your NCLEX, you're sent over to 9.09er English. Now, I'd like to ask Miss Stell, which of the techniques and the test taking strategies of 9.09er English did you find to be most effective to help you pass and ace your English examination?
Okay, so actually, Sir Irving, it's a combination, no, of all the available um, review tips and tools that Niner gave us. So, for example, um, I really took advantage of the regular coaching for speaking and writing. So, I would alternate that every day to fine tune my skills in speaking and writing, and also to lessen my nervousness for the test. The mere fact that I'm able to talk to a coach every day, that also lessens my shyness. No? As a matter of fact, even now I'm shy. so so, but because of the constant practice that I have with the coaches, I was able to deliver on my speaking and writing test to the best that I can. No? And I was able to put the comments of my coaches to memory because I remember friends were saying you have to memorize so many things, and I said I cannot memorize these things, but because of constant practice, I would actually put it to memory. So it became like a routine. No? Eventually, even the corrections came automatic to me already. So that took care of my speaking and writing. Now, my reading and listening exam, obviously, I had to rely on the mock test that I would be exposed to. I was able to use the ones from Niner at the same time the ones that British Council gave me. So when I used all of these, I developed my own technique. Of course, the best is the scheme and scam for reading, and then also note taking for listening. So once I mastered that, it got easier already. So the more I participate with all the online mock exams of Niner, the easier it got, especially because the 3 hour um, online mock exam that Niner has, we normally have this about 2 or 3 times a week. It allowed my mind to work for 3 hours. I had to make sure it's like endurance training for endurance swimming. I had to make sure that my mind was ready to work for 3 hours, and that actually got me through the test. If it weren't for that, I think by 1 hour palang I'm already by 1 hour I'm already gone.
Miss Nell is actually right when she said holistic approach. Well, AMN Healthcare International knows that, yes, there are a lot of free videos on YouTube. It's just that free videos are not enough. That's because you cannot ask questions when you're watching a video. So 9.09er English offers daily one-on-one coaching in speaking and writing, and that got the attention of AMN Healthcare International. So AMN endorses the nurses to us without these nurses paying a single centavo because, again, it's sponsored by AMN. And then once they are done with their speaking lecture, that's when they go for one-on-one coaching. And this is an important exercise because you're talking to a human being every single day. Sometimes you're at home, you're forced to talk to the people in your first language. Say, for instance, I'm Bisaya. So when I talk to my family members, obviously we communicate in Bisaya. It sounds rather awkward when we're going to speak in English, and yet we know that everyone shares the same first language, which is Bisaya. But when the nurses are endorsed to us, they are forced to communicate in English during the speaking coaching. It's like having a speaking buddy. But the big difference is your speaking buddies are not necessarily connoisseurs of the English language. At 9.09er English, our coaches have not just taken, they have aced the examination. So they are more than credible to coach the candidates. So what our reviewees get, tips on how to improve their strength and also what to do with their weaknesses. Typically, the nurses wait for the go signal of our coaches. And once they have the go signal, that's when they register for the examination and take the test. So that's the beauty of AMN 9.09er and British Council collaboration. First, AMN screens the applicants and those who are worthy of a free English review and free English examination are sent over to us. We are the one giving them live lectures, recorded videos if they cannot attend the live and interactive version, and then daily one-on-one coaching. And when they are ready to take the exam, we endorse them to the British Council for them to take the actual examination. So speaking of IELTS and the British Council, Ms. Tel, we know for a fact that there are so many English examinations available in the market, but I'd like to ask you personally, why IELTS and not the other English exams?
Okay. Okay. So, well, first of all, I haven't really decided yet where to go. And my friends have told me that IELTS is the most is widely accepted all over the US. So rather than make the wrong choice, I might as well go with the sure winner. And because of this, I decided to just go for IELTS, and I said I'll just take my exam and then I will decide later on where to go. At least I know that IELTS is accepted all over the US. So that was
That
my first consideration.
That's actually correct because there are so many English exams. It's just that if you choose the other English examinations, they are not accepted in certain states. So, what some nurses do, they take an English examination and then all of a sudden, when they apply in a particular state, they are informed, okay, the English examination that you took is actually not acceptable in our state. So we need you to take IELTS or TOEFL. So many nurses have to go back to their review or preparation just because they took an English examination not accepted in their target state. So why is it that the messaging of AMN Healthcare International is for nurses to take IELTS? Well, IELTS is the only English examination that's accepted literally by all states. So you hit two birds with one stone. By taking the IELTS, you're able to secure your visa screen certificate. And number two, not repeat your English exam because regardless of your destination or target state, IELTS is accepted. So now it boils down to two remaining options, Ms. Tal, for your testing center because in the Philippines, there are two testing centers that you can choose from. But why did you choose the British Council as your official testing center for the IELTS?
Okay. So again, I'm the kind of person that just goes one at a time. So, and I don't want to get stressed anymore. So when I joined Niner at the same time, of course, my next question is, how do I go about enrolling for my test? And by that time, they had already said, why don't you just go with British Council because we have a partnership, we have a long-term partnership already, so you might just want to try them. So as far as I'm concerned, I will not doubt that anymore. I will just work with the best agencies, and so there I was. Especially because they also helped me register for the exam, so everything was so easy. It's like um, it's like I didn't have to do much. I just had to give the date that I was ready for, and then suddenly I was already on my way to the test center. So imagine how simple that is for me. So the stress is just really on passing the test. All the other things were easy already as it is.
So now that you have decided to take your IELTS examination with the British Council, please tell us more about your actual examination experience. Like how early did you arrive at the examination venue? How would you rate the staff, the test invigilators? And
Mhm,
do you find the examination venue conducive? Like,
mhm.
is it noisy? Is it crowded? So tell us more about your actual examination experience with the British
Okay.
Council.
Yeah. So, Sir Irvin, from day one. So, for example, because my registration was course through Niner, all I had to do was wait for the confirmation letter that I was already registered for the date. Okay, and then eventually, uh, when I was assigned the venue, it, I just went there, and then things were easy. People were leading me. There were, people were guiding me to where I'm supposed to go. people were seated. Um, all the other participants were also, um, I would say, calmly waiting our turn to take the exam. You know? It was very convenient. The center is also very well ventilated. It's important for a venue like this to keep the people calm. And the only way to do that is if the environment is very relaxing. No? So the staff of British Council were very accommodating. They were they were patient enough because I think some people were already getting, shall we say, uneasy, waiting. But after that, as soon as we got sorry, as soon as we got our seats down, as soon as we got our seats down, we were ready to take the exam. It's like everything went clockwork. So how would I put it? I didn't even feel the difficulty from day one, and I think to me that's more important because um, all I want to do is focus on passing the test. So imagine if I had to worry about the venue and I had to worry about the other places to go to. So there. So I mean, I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, it was just so easy, and I think that is important to me. I'm sure
Thank you
for
for
others also.
Thank you so much for letting us know that you had a pleasant experience.
Yes.
Sometimes, if there are problems in the beginning, it's going to affect your performance. So, nice to know that it was smooth. And that's why you aced your IELTS examination. Now, we are down to our last two questions. And my next one is,
Sorry.
would you recommend the British Council and the IELTS to nurses who are planning to go to America, knowing that they have a lot of options? But would you recommend British Council and IELTS specifically?
Yes, actually, I have because I guess I cannot recommend something that I did not have myself, right? So I have been sharing that with friends. I've also been sharing that even with, sometimes when you're in a venue, like when we were waiting for our test, we all became friends out there, no? And we found out that we came from different backgrounds, and yet it's like we were we were all united under one spirit. And so what happened here is that after we got out, because I had a good feeling about it. I just talked about it, and then sometimes I would even join communities, and I would give my opinion, and I'd say, well, the three things I'd say: Niner, I'd say British Council, of course, I'd say IELTS, no, because these are the ones that made things work for me. So there.
Thank you for your recommendation. And now, the last part. Please, your last few words of advice to nurses who are still unsure of the steps that they must take in order to fulfill that American dream.
Okay. Okay. So, um, okay, I think what's happening is similar to what I did is when I've decided that I wanted to have uh, a different approach to my future, and that is moving to the US. So I had to do it step by step. You know? I of course talked to people, but at the same time I read and I tried to research, and eventually it led me to deciding what test to take, joining Niner, going through British Council, and now I will have to decide which state to go to, at the same time which agency to work with. So you don't really have to rush, but you have to make sure that you do it. You take your time, but you have to decide um, which way to go. And at the same time, when you've decided, you'll have to force, to go through it all the way. There may be some snags every once in a while, but that's okay. It's going to happen because at the end, it's still a better future that you're looking for. So don't be scared. Just just forge and then go ahead and follow your dream.
I like that part when you said be decisive. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Now, you've heard the inspirational success story of Miss Tel, who passed her IELTS with the help of AMN Healthcare International 9.09er English and the British Council. Guys, 4 weeks from now, we are going to feature another nurse, an IELTS passer, who also made it with the British Council Philippines. Guys, 2 Mondays from now, Sir Brian will join me once again for free lectures on IELTS speaking, writing, reading, and listening. And don't think it's just free English lessons here at AMN Academy. Every second and fourth Monday of the month, it's the turn of NCLEX Review Center partners of AMN to give you free lessons on next generation NCLEX. So don't forget, that's Monday, 9 p.m. Philippine time. But there's also another show here on AMN Healthcare International Facebook page, and that's Onwards and Upwards show every Friday at 10 p.m. So if you're looking for content that will help boost your morale and actually help you reach the United States of America, there's just one channel to remember, and that's AMN Healthcare International. For now, enjoy the rest of your day if you're in other parts of the world, but if you're from the Philippines, good night. We hope to see you in our next Facebook Live session. Good evening and goodbye. Thank you.